Okay, let's get things started with a quick look at Microsoft Word. So what I've got here is a new document, and then I've copied and pasted the Gettysburg Address off of the internet, and you can see that here. A couple of things that stand out to me really quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight them. That's maybe more than basic, but I want to take a look at them. In the middle of this document, you can see the word cannot, or the words cannot, right there. And you'll notice as we look at that, there's a double blue underline. That means it's technically okay. It's not a misspelled word. That would be a little bit differently. So for example, if I said larger sense, but I forgot the G, notice that's a squiggly red underline. If I right click on larger, it suggests some possible alternatives to that word, and I can click on larger. But the double blue underline, not the squiggly red, but the double blue underline says maybe that's not grammatically what we want. And so cannot is a single word, and so it's suggesting that we do that. And I can do that on the others as well. If I hit ignore, then it'll ignore that and not make the change, and it'll get rid of the double underline. So you can see I hit ignore on that case, and cannot no longer has a double underline. But I don't like it, so I'm going to get rid of it. So that's one of the first things that stands out for me. The other thing is you can see that this doesn't really fill up my screen, and so I can go down in the lower right hand corner down here, and I can hit the zoom. I can zoom in or out. I'm going to zoom in, so I'm kind of better filling my screen here. And we'll go ahead and scroll up. You can see the right hand side, there's a scroll bar over here, and that will help me move it up and down. All right, so there's what I copied and pasted off of the internet. So let's take a look at a couple of options. First off, I want to save the file. I can do a file, and then there's an option to save, and that means I don't change the file name. I can also just click on the save icon up in the upper left-hand corner. I can also save as, and if I do a save as, then I've got other other places I can put it. I can change the name, things along those lines, right? I can even change the file type. So let's assume I save it. I can, instead of a Word document, I can change it to a PDF document. I can change it into a rich text format. So a rich text format is kind of a widely accepted format. It still has font sizes and shapes and some other variations so that we can do with that. Plain text is another alternative, and that's going to be a very small file size, but there's not going to be any boldface or italicize or anything like that. I do use plain text actually fairly often, but we'll go ahead and just leave it as a Word document, and I could change the name to sample02 if I so desired, or whatever other name I want, and I'll go ahead and save it. And now you can see up here that that's been changed to a different file name. Okay, so that's under File, Save. I can also print from over there. You can see the print in here, right? And it'll be looking around for printers for me. There's also some other information inside there. Oops. Okay, so there's my printer options. It's looking for available printers now. That's because I'm connected to a network. I can print the whole document. I can print all of the pages. I can print just one page. I can print on one side, on two sides, lots of different options in there. I don't want to get into that in too much detail. Okay, I think that's all we want to look at in the File menu. In the Home menu, you can see the Paste option here, and that's actually active. So there's something on the clipboard. The clipboard is what we call the area where text or pictures or something are held when they're saved. So let me just highlight this middle paragraph. I can hit cut, and that takes it out of there. And then I can go down below here, and I can paste. And so that's now pasted down in the lower section instead of the upper section. If I go back to the upper section and I hit paste again, you can see that it reappears. So I can copy, if I copy it and don't cut it, so I highlight everything and do a copy, then it's on the clipboard again, but not necessarily, did you see that, well, I can highlight it and then I can copy it. It's on the clipboard again, but it didn't disappear from its current location. So I could come down here to the bottom and I could paste it again. You can see that double paragraph is now there. I can change the fonts. So if I can highlight this paragraph, it's currently Calibri at 11 points. I'm a big fan of Times New Roman and 12 points. And you can see this font that's in this paragraph is different than the font down below. It looks different. So there are a lot of different varieties of fonts. One other type that we'll use a lot besides Times New Roman is the symbol font. See, I use it enough that it's actually up there, and that's just Greek letters. So you can see this area right here. Those letters are now Greek. There are some quick changes I can make. I can do superscripts and subscripts. I can boldface. All right, let's just do a boldface there. I can italicize. I can underline. Lots of different options. This one is for subscripting. I actually use that a lot. Same with the superscripting because of all the mathematics stuff that we'll do. We'll talk more about that later. I can alter the paragraph. Instead of it being left justified, I can make it center justified. Right? I can make it fully justified. So it moves things around so that that right-hand side is squared off. I can make it right justified. I've done that on a few occasions, not very often. Left justified is generally what we have most often. If I have some information I want to put down below, I'm just going to put in some numbers here, 1, 2, and 3. And then if I want, I can highlight those. And I can do bullet points. Right? I could just do circles for bullets. I can change the type of bullet. I like this little arrowy looking thing. I can make numbered bullet points or lettered bullet points. Lots of different options in here. You can see that's letters followed by periods. I can do letters followed by parentheses. So there's a variety of numbers in there, and I can move them over farther if I want, or back to the left. If I highlight something and I want it to be highlighted, I can do that here. I can do a text highlight color. I don't have to use yellow. I can use a different color, maybe a green. Whoops, I've got to re-highlight it. So one thing about the highlighting characteristics here, when you highlight something, it doesn't stay active anymore, right? So I can make it green. I can change the font to red. Oh, it's not highlighted again. Change the font to red. So lots of different options there as well. I'm not going to get into too much detail on that. The headings in here, we can talk about that a little bit. This is the Gettysburg Address. So I might go to the top here and I might say, hey, let's do the Gettysburg Address. Hopefully I'm spelling this right. If I highlight that now, and notice I can highlight the entire line by going out to the outside. You see how it's the I-beam? Right, there's an I-beam right there. But if I go to the side, it becomes an arrow pointer. And if I highlight that to the side, it highlights the entire line. And I can make this a heading. And that changes the font a little bit, and it's also going to change the way it's marked in Microsoft Word. So it knows that this is a heading and not, you can see this little tabby thing over here. It's not regular text, it's a heading. So there's a variety of different levels of headings that you can get into. Some of that will be important as you're doing lab reports and stuff. All right, so there's a quick intro to Word. We'll stop there and move on to some other stuff here in a little bit.